Joe, this is your first video. It's actually the remake. Um, so the dialogue won't be exactly what it was when we generated it, but it'll be close. So the setup is pretty good. Your hands are hanging nicely. Um, the modern swing is a more bent over version. Here, Scott is tilted over at about 41 degrees. You're like 25 degrees, and the advantage of his is, see this angle here between the shaft and his spine angle is almost 90 degrees, where yours is like 110 or 120. His configuration has better body lines. The swing is basically perpendicular to the spine. So I would like to see a little more over the ball. 41 degrees might be a bit much, but I think 38 would be a good angle for you to start at. Uh, anyway, it's not causing any great trauma, but it just will be a cleaner, simpler swing if you have improved body angles. So as you start back, you know, it's pretty good takeaway. It's in the correct spot, exactly where Scott's is, except see how his is toe up right here. Yours is fairly shut at this point. Now the problem with that being fairly shut is that you become too steep. So other than that, this spot is good. Pretty good shoulder tilt in there. It's all on plane, still on plane. This is really good right to here. See where Scott is very similar to Scott's. Not too dissimilar. I like the idea that this right forearm is slanted down almost vertically. That's a good thing. But here's where we kind of go wrong. See at the top? Yeah, can't really see the club in this video, but the shaft is along this line. And see this wrist? It's cupped the wrong way. It's here, and the right wrist is straight. So we have to switch that. See how Scott's left wrist is flat, right arm is cupped? So that causes it to the shaft to be across the line. Now the problem with it is as you come down, across the line delivers too steep of downswing. In other words, and this is where the crux of the matter is. It's pointed there, and it should be pointed at the ball. Similar to here, at this point. Okay, now this is where it all starts. So you're too steep. If you don't make any mid-swing correction, you're going to stick a fork in it about a foot behind the ball. So that forces you into lift and flip. Now watch your spine angle. Watch you kind of stand up. See, kind of stand up out of it, and you're trying to save it with your hands, like good athletes try to do, and you flip. So at this point, you lose that spine angle you had, and it's close to maybe only 10 degrees. And because it's a lift and flip, your cheeks will come away from the back wall a bit there. See that? So the effect is your belt buckle goes towards the ball, and it's a defensive move because you're too steep. You're trying to save it. So you stand up and lift and flip. Now watch Scott as he comes down. See, he's on plane all the way. See, he turns his Still on plane. It's still on plane. Gets right to there. See, his left cheek is against the back wall. He still has that spine angle. As a matter of fact, the spine angle gets a little more severe, and he ends up being able to chase the ball like that. Whereas you stay in it pretty good there, and come out. And, this is good action with the lower body. It's just a little late. And speaking of the lower body, as you come down in kind of a save move, see, at impact, we only see like not even one cheek, and Scott's, you see 1, 2 cheeks, and that's what all good players have. So in your belt buckle is more towards the ball. His is somewhere between the target and the ball. And to be honest, that's about it as far as the backswing goes. Everything else, at impact position and post-impact position, is caused by this coming down too steep, which is caused by this little move at the top being across the line. So I'll give you a still photo that will show you the difference here. And what you do is get in a mirror and you mimic that move. See how the club is. See, that's still on plane. It's a little laid off. Yours is across the line. So he doesn't have to do any mid-swing correction to get it on plane. It's on plane, whereas the club goes, see, it goes straight up. If you're going to save it from there, the first move of the club has to go in this direction, which is very tough to do. So the point is, don't allow it to get across the line. Look like this at the top. Then you don't have to worry about the mid-swing correction. Yeah, like that. Now, the other angle just supports what we're seeing here. And I'll quickly get to that. Okay, good. Now, okay, so, and this is the other thing. Remember, we want to widen that stance a bit, so we want the inside of the foot to align with the outside of the shoulder. Basically, just a little wider than you have. We don't need to go into more detail than that. Oops. Oh man, I deleted your other angle, but this is what happens at the top of the swing. At the top of the swing, you and I can't get there, but we can get here, right? Okay. So, and what I was trying to point up was his angles. You have pretty good angles here, considering you have a more narrow stance. But this angle is on the order of like 14 degrees, and this angle is on the order of like 8 degrees, and you might be 3 degrees here and 5 or 8 degrees here. So we just need to increase that angle, these angles a bit. And see the width? Your width at this point is here, and your hands are here, and this green line represents your left arm. And so the distance from your hands to the head are is very small. His is maximum. So you want to work on basically a straight left arm. Then his magic is, not that it matters to you at this time, but it'll eventually, is, see, he pushes off with that right instep. So when his hands are parallel, when his left arm's parallel to the ground, he's off at like 6 inches. You're off at like a half an inch. And then through impact, he's off at, that looks to be about 10 inches or a foot. And you're hardly moving, and then gets to a point like this. And again, I'll give you a hard copy of this position. At this point, your club, because this is the flip part of the lift and flip, is here, and you never get it to this point. And that's because you can't clear your hips. And you can't clear your hips because you come down too steep and you're in a lift and flip situation.